Wanted to show everybody how to remove the screws from the oil pump cover in order to service the seal that typically leaks, and then you start getting a lot of oil on the bottom of your motor. These are the typical screws that are installed from the factory. So this is the screw, so it's a Phillips screw. You can see it's not very big, and you see a lot of people posting up about stripping them, not being able to reach or get in there. So I just want to do a little show and tell on some of the tips or suggestions and methods I've come up with over time to get them out. My number one tool of choice is this little ratchet by Craftsman. It takes little bits, so you can put the correct size Phillips bit in here. I have the JDM version for these Phillips screws that fits in nicely. I put it into the screw and I'll apply counterclockwise torque with my hand, and I'll use a small hammer to tap on this portion here to create vibrations. And I'll continue tapping and applying force, and eventually they do come loose. It may take a little bit. Sometimes they come out pretty quick, but if you don't have this tool, there's other methods of trying. You can try to use a standard screwdriver. You can use a small impact gun like this with a small bit, like this one on there. Just do it lightly and feather it. If you can tap it before applying the impact gun or this small nut driver or the impact driver, try to tap it to create vibrations to loosen everything. You could try soaking it in some sort of PB blaster to try to penetrate those screws. But in the event that you do break something, and they do happen, right, you'll strip it. And here's a little show and tell of various screws that have been stripped. So using this method on this specific truck, I had a number of them strip. Either they were previously already fouled up or attempted. It seems like maybe there was some history on this truck beforehand. So my bit here started to strip them. I tried to use the impact driver with more force, and it stripped it further. So when that happens, that's not it's not the end of the world. They're just screws. So the next approach is to get a bit, and this one is a 13/64. And the point is you're trying to drill out just the head. And here's a little show and tell. Here's the screw, and here's the head drilled out. So when I drill it after it's stripped, my goal is to really just cut off this top. So get enough of this bit in there to shear off the head from the shaft. And that will allow the cover to come off, and then you can have easier access to put vice grips on there. But once that's done, the tension on the actual screw is released, right? So once you remove the head, the screw is no longer in tension. So the screw 99% of the time just backs out. So another point that can happen here, another tip, is if you drill it and the head doesn't fall off. Here's one where the head didn't fall right off. It probably is on the cusp. If I hit it with the hammer, it'll probably fall right off. If it doesn't fall off, what you can do is use these grab bit speed outs. They work pretty good on this. So you already stripped it, you drilled it, and then here's the bit actually in there showing you what it's going to look like. It's a left-hand thread, so as soon as you start backing it out, it starts to grip onto the screw, and your existing hole from the 13/64 is sufficient for this to grab onto, and this just comes right out. So on this truck, all of them came out. You could see the carnage here, and it's not the end of the world. They all do come out. When you do drill, try to apply some sort of cooling system to your drill bit. I use Tap Magic, it just works well. You can use other sort of lubricants, it doesn't really matter. And hopefully this is a suggestion and tips for people trying to do this maintenance themselves or come up short because they strip something and they're in a panic. It's not the end of the world. Lastly, this is another a fun tool that DeWalt comes up with. I mean, every manufacturer at this point has it. It gives you a 90-degree shorter distance, or it really changes the dimensions of the drill. So in the event that you don't have a stubby like this or a different one, or yours is too big, you can use this. So you stick this into your drill and then you can go in vertical, and it takes those same types of bits. And the drill bits I use they're not the standard round drill bits. They use the quick connect for the impact driver type. So hopefully this helps people out on removing the oil pump cover on the front of the 1FZ FE, and that's it.